unique aspect of Catholicism is that God is pursuing all men. It's not an insiders club. It's not just a select few. It's all. Because that's the beautiful revelation of the New Testament, that God wants all peoples at all time, in every place, like that catechism quote, we actually see in Christianity, housed in the Catholic Church, this different reality than we see in any religion ever before, any philosophy. And Aaron, I know you. I'll let you tell the story because you know it better than me. But I remember one of the first times I saw this differently. You were telling the story of you speaking with a previous bishop of ours here in Columbus.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you want to give context to that. It just makes the Christian narrative so different that he wants all, not just some.
Yeah, Bishop Frederick Campbell was speaking. I think this was in a confirmation homily, maybe, and he was identifying that every world culture and religion and philosophy is marked by man's pursuit of something, right? Whether it's enlightenment or fulfillment or God or gods or whatever. And the one thing that separates Christianity is that in the Christian message, we see that God actually changes the story. That it's in Christianity that we see God pursue man, and we see that played out in beautiful humility that God takes on human flesh, right, and ultimately dies on the cross. And you don't find that anywhere else. It's there's a great saint quote, and I don't know who I'm quoting, but in all other worldviews, we see this message that kind of circles around the idea that if we know a personal God, that we can be satisfied with the fact that he loves. But in Christianity, we realize that he is love.
Right.
That there's something about the nature of God that the understanding of the Trinity itself, like it just communicates that God's nature is to do this, right?
Right.
This isn't like a charitable decision that God makes today and maybe tomorrow he'll change his mind.
Yeah.
This is the God that we engage with. This is the God who pursues us. Why? Because pursuit is his name, right? Trinitarian love, a love poured out this is who he is.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's not a choice he's making. It's actually a revelation of his character.
Yeah. 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 Well, he reveals himself in every way as love. Like he reveals himself just to the church over time in his Trinitarian reality.
Yeah.
That exchange of persons is love. He also reveals himself in a very elementary way to us as Father and Son.
Yep.
And the spirit of love that spirates from them. Like he reveals in both incredibly complex and very simple ways that this is what I'm about. What I'm about is connection. What I'm about is communion. It's unity. And I think, Dan, your point is something that I really just want to sit on for a minute, because when I realize that God is pursuing me in every moment, in every time, in every place, like the Catechism says, I begin realizing, as I begin seeing his face like Adam at the beginning, that I want everyone to know he's doing the same. And then when they hear that from someone through testimony or whatever, they begin that process of, wait, he's pursuing me? And then all of a sudden when they go, right? Because God's entire pursuit of man is to pursue man, to have the ones he has pursued open the eyes of those who don't know, so they know he's pursuing. So they open the eyes of those who don't know, so they know he's pursuing, because it's about him, not us, right? Because we can even see mission in the context of us. Mission is to show why it was so good that God pursued Brad, right? God saw my gifts. And we can even get into this sometimes in identity stuff. Like our identity is that we're beloved. Like my identity is not that I'm beloved because of these gifts that needed to be seen because the church really needs them. It's no, God pursued Brad. And then from there, I'm all those gifts you've given me, God, I want to use them so everyone knows you're pursuing them, right? Not so people know that you saved me, but so that they know that you're saving them. That is a huge move. I don't want to prove to people that you saved me. I want to show people that you're saving them. That's pursuit. That's an understanding of the pursuit I received, not by earning it, but because he loves, and the revelation that should bring to the world.
Well, it's Lent, and I think it'd be really interesting for this Lent if you like maybe in your spiritual life, you've always been the main character of your spiritual life, and what if this Lenten season you made God the main character of your spiritual life? Like I think just think about what is your typical modus operandi of prayer. How do you operate during prayer, and is it all about you, right? Like, are you meditating too much on your own character, your own disposition, your own pursuit, your own holiness or lack of holiness, your own mission and lack of mission? Like, do you examine your conscience a little too much versus examining the heart of God and making, like, I think if just for the first week of Advent, for the first week of Lent, you just made it all about Him, and I was removed from your prayer, and you didn't think about yourself at all, and you just meditated on Him, then you would discover God who is love. And once you discover God who is love, everything changes. Then you would discover the God of Sinai and the power of His presence. Everything changes. Then you would discover the God's reckless pursuit of Israel and Catholics and all of us. And when our focus is on Him, I think we're able to see God in a way that is free of all usury. It's free of me, and it just allows me to know who He is, which is, like, I think when you fall in love with someone, your mind and your heart is kind of just focused on them, right?
Yeah.
Discovering them, and you get changed in that process because you're so into the other. And I think I think sometimes our spiritual life lacks that falling in love with God, so much so that all we care about is Him. And any effort to change is just a result of us seeing how awesome they are. And our life is naturally getting changed because we're falling deeper and deeper in love with this person.
What is it then that keeps us from that place? I mean, that seems so easy.
Right.
Why don't, I mean, it's like when a child is born, that child's core and sole focus is on the one who provides him life. It's like there's no one else in that kid's life but mom.
Yeah.
I think we're a product of our own generation. Like, we are living in the self-help generation. We're living in we're worried about like whether or not this water bottle has GMOs or not. Like, I don't even know what a GMO is. But is that
genetically modified organisms?
So I guess a water bottle does not have. What is it on the water? Like BPI, all these. But we're so obsessed with all of these things that like everything is about like me, and there's goodness in that, and there's virtue in that, but like I go to Starbucks and I can get like 17 different kinds of milk, right? And like there's so many things that complicate our mind that I think then we bring all that complication into our relationship with God, as opposed to just falling onto our knees and saying, God, you're sovereign.